Hello, my name's Gadd. So what I'd like to discuss on the Talking with Spirit DVD on the online video, if people have purchased that, then what I would like to do is a few support videos that go with it to basically update it as well. And these will be free and you'll be able to download them from YouTube. So what I want to discuss first of all, when we start talking on the videos, the Talking with Spirit, we talk a lot about energy, and I talk about the simplest form of not and how this energy is everywhere. So what I want to do is just to go into a bit more understanding as to why I've sort of tried to explain what the energy is doing. So what you need to do when you're trying to connect with spirit, rather than seeing spirit as something completely different than what we are, it's just to understand that we are pure energy. We have no physical form. We have a perception of physical form, perception around us as physical things, but the reality is everything comes from one energy. It comes from one energy. That energy is basically information. It's hard to explain. It's the energy is one energy that creates a pattern. The pattern is the information. So when you put one energy in with another energy, it creates a new pattern. The energy of one atom and another atom can identify and become a different atom or become a different product through simply the patterns that it creates. So the entire universe is a pattern. If you put all the energy together, it creates one huge complicated pattern. The reason I talk about the figure of 8 is that's the simplest form of knot, the simplest form of pattern. And what I'm trying to, I use the word, I suppose, knotted patterns, for the understanding that all these patterns link together. They knot together, they tie themselves together, they're interwoven together. So the whole universe is energy, we're energy, spirit's energy, and it's to try to get people that when they do the meditations and the visualizations is to see the true perception of what you are. If you can understand your true perception is energy, that you're just a pure energy force, that everything around you is energy, nothing is actually physical, it's just a perception. So you change that perception that everything's energy, and everything contains, the energy itself is information. So you can pick up a piece of wood and you may feel where that piece of wood's come from. You may feel what that piece of wood felt or experienced, because in that energy that creates that piece of wood is information, is memory. And memory at the end of the day is just stored information. So all our genes and all our cells in our body is basically information. And it's stored information. So what you try to perceive yourself as this pure energy being, everything around you is energy. And then it gives you that understanding it's not that hard to talk with spirit. Because all you're doing is, by visualizing yourself as this pure energy, by changing your perception and understanding that you're pure energy, that your body doesn't just stop where your skin does, it comes out further than that. The aura comes out further, your energy comes out further than that. By understanding that and by being able to perceive that, when you connect with the energy that surrounds you and you feel yourself as that pure energy, not only does that empower you to heal and helps you to heal and helps you to move that energy through you and focus that energy into healing forms, but it allows you to, when you're working on a person, to understand, to feel their energy, to read the information that is within that energy, what that energy is. And then the same with spirit. So you sort of become, you connect with your own spirit. Your own spirit is there all the time. So you have your spiritual self, you have your own spirit, and all you're doing is you're raising your vibration to become conscious of your spirit. So when you become conscious of your spirit, and it's easy then to communicate with other spirits because you're at the same vibrational level. So it's not so hard to understand once you get that perception. And the reason I talk about the figure of 8 and I talk about knots is basically these energy patterns knot together. They're interwoven. So the entire universe is one big energy pattern that's constantly in change, constantly in flux. It never stays the same. So even if you have two atoms that are totally identical atoms, the same atom, they'll still be different. There's still a subtle difference. Maybe never be able to record that difference for man to ever understand that difference, but there will still be a subtle difference. So, but it's still one energy. One energy creates everything. It just is different patterns. And when you put one atom and another atom, two different patterns together, they create a new pattern, which then creates a molecule, and so on. But it's also understanding that the figure of 8 is the simplest form of pattern, but you also have to understand that it's not just two-dimensional, it's multi-dimensional. So the spiraling energy that comes in through the crown, and the spiraling energy that comes underneath the body, and the spiraling energies that come into your chakras, they are still creating a figure of 8. The energy, it spirals, but it still creates this figure of 8 knot. And the reason that it's important to understand that is when you visualize that, if you visualize the energy flowing in the right direction, if you can visualize that, then it's easier for you to enhance that, to control that, to feel that, to experience that. So the energy is in constant motion, it's constant movement, it's always transferring its information, itself, which is information, to somewhere else. So at the moment, the light comes in, the light comes into my body, it then comes out of my body, goes into the camera lens. It's a constant transfer of information. The camera then stores that information, and we then transfer that information online onto the internet. But it's still information, it's energy. It's all energy, everything's energy. So I do talk about and try and explain the energy, but it's because you need to change the way you feel about what you are. To develop into a powerful healer, to develop into a powerful medium, you have to be able to raise your consciousness to become conscious of your spirit. So a lot of people see themselves as a body with a spirit. What you have to feel to really be able to connect is you feel that you are a spirit with a body. So your greater consciousness is actually of your spirit, less consciousness of your body. So you're a spirit with a body as opposed to a body that somewhere has this spirit. And your spirit is where spirits are. It's there within that energy. So heaven isn't a place. Heaven isn't, up in the sky or down in the ground. It's just a vibration. Spirit is just a different vibration of energy that's constantly interacting with us, and we constantly interact with that because energy is always interacting. So what I'm trying to explain is on the video, on the DVD, the Talking with Spirit online, the importance of understanding, visualizing these spirals and cones of energy, and to put that into context with yourself, how these spirals affect you, how they are creating you. They create you and you create them, and it's just to try to get you to understand that importance. Some people, they watch the DVD and think, oh, I didn't learn a lot. And what you're learning may not make sense at this point in time. What I'm trying to explain may not make sense at this point in time, but it will do later. It will do as you develop through practice. It will start to make sense. Thank you.